Hello everyone and welcome to an F1 2021 video. Now this is very different. Obviously I've never done an F1 2021 game before on the channel, so I'm obviously intrigued to find out what you guys think and see if we're going to do any more on the channel. But today I'm not going to be playing the game. I'm going to go through a 10-year challenge. Well, it's not really a challenge. I say challenge just because it sounds good for the thumbnail and title and whatever. But I'm going to go through 10 years of a career mode save, and I'm going to show you the results of what happens in each season. So let me go through the introduction first, and I'm going to. So some of the videos can be scripted, and some of it's not. I think you'll be able to tell by the tone of my voice if it's scripted or not. Here we go. So this is the introduction. In this video, I'm going to show you the results from the next 10 simulated seasons on F1 2021. Each season is going to be 10 races long. I'm going to show you the transfers before the season started, who won the Drivers' Championship, and then who won the Constructors. For a bit of fun, I'm going to give an award out to one driver each season. This could be positive or negative. Lastly, I'm going to speak a little about the season as a whole, perhaps who could have done better or who was a shock performer. Could we see these two drivers compete just like in real life? Well then, let's get into it. Right, so Season 1, 2021. Here are the transfers. Absolutely none at all, which is good, you know. Makes my life a bit easier, but here we go. So this is the current lineup. So this screen will show after every transfer, quote-unquote, window, I guess, showing you who's at what team, who won the previous Drivers' Championship and who won the previous Constructors. Obviously last season in real life it was Lewis Hamilton and Mercedes, so that's why they've got the trophies next to them there. And I'm going to go forward. So who do you think won the Drivers' Championship in 2021? Well, it was Max Verstappen with 184 points. Now this could happen in real life, of course. As of recording, it's still, I don't know how many races left, 5 or 6 I want to say, in the 2021 season in real life. So let's see who wins it. I'm going to say that Max will probably win it this year. I think it's just Lewis's one to lose, unfortunately. But you never know, it's hammer time. Right, so Constructors, obviously Red Bull as well, 344 points. Fantastic result from them. And the biggest disappointment award. Now I want you to guess who this went to. Obviously Lewis Hamilton. Sadly, as a Lewis Hamilton fan, obviously I want him to win. But in this save, it's gone to him. The reason why I gave it this award to him is because he only won 3 of the races, and obviously with the best car on the grid and probably the best driver on the grid based on stats, he should be doing a lot better than that. So let's go through the summary of the first season then. So this is what I wrote after the first season. The first season was completely dominated between Red Bull and Mercedes, however it was Max who prevailed this time. Winning half the possible races, Max put his mark on the championship and made sure it was one to forget for Mercedes. So now on to Season 2, closing over the page on Season 1 into Season 2 in 2022. So, first of all, Fernando Alonso retires from the sport, which leaves an open space at Alpine, which George Russell takes, which is very interesting. So obviously taking a slight turn away from reality there, obviously because he went to Mercedes in real life. But we've got Russell at Alpine here, and Dan Ticktum takes the seat at Williams, which is very satisfying because his picture has got Williams Racing Driver Academy on it, so it's very satisfying. Here we go. So that's the lineup for this year. Obviously, Ticktum at Williams and Russell at Alpine. So the Drivers' Championship winner was, surprisingly, Valtteri Bottas. The Finn takes the title this year with 185 points, and the Constructors was Mercedes with 323 points. So fantastic year for Mercedes there. And the shock performer of the year, surprisingly, goes to Valtteri Bottas as well. Fantastic season from him. Obviously, the award given him to because he won the championship, you know, and very, unexpected. You would think Lewis would take the reins, but no, it was Valtteri. So here's the Season 2 summary I wrote at the end of Season 2. Now, this season was one to remember for Mercedes, although perhaps not for Lewis. Valtteri finished on a podium spot 7 out of the 10 possible times, with his lowest result being P6 in the Netherlands. The Finn dominated the first 5 races, winning 3 and getting runner-up twice. Now let's get to Season 3 in 2023. And here's the transfers for that year. So, Raikkonen, Kimi, retired in 2023. So, a little bit late on that, but Kimi retired. So that obviously leaves an open space at Alfa Romeo, which Dan Ticktum surprisingly goes to. So obviously he didn't impress in the first season at Williams, so he's been shipped off to Alfa Romeo. And Guan Yu Zhou takes the seat at Williams, which is very interesting. This is the lineup for the 2023 campaign, and looks quite decent. So, the Drivers' Championship, who do you think won? Of course, it's Max Verstappen with 198 points this time, which is, I believe, is the highest total we've had so far. So, absolute dominant performance from him there. And of course, Constructors goes to Red Bull with 355 points. The So Close Yet So Far award went to my man Lewis Hamilton again. The reason why is because he finished on a podium place every race apart from the Netherlands, where he placed P4. So very, very consistent from this man, but not enough to win the championship, unfortunately for him. So on to the Season 3 summary. A return to normality for Red Bull, who take another Constructors' Championship home with them. Max, of course, finished on top of the pile with Checo Perez, finishing P3 in the Drivers' Championship. Hamilton was this close to disrupting the party with a podium position in almost every race, but a massive fall from Bottas meant that Mercedes could get nowhere near that Constructors' Championship. So it's very unfortunate for Mercedes, but obviously Red Bull fans will be absolutely living. So on to Season 4 now, 2024. And surprisingly, Lewis Hamilton retires after that season where he was that close. Obviously, I don't think this would happen in real life. I feel like he would go for the eighth. Is it eighth? Oh God, I sound like such a fake fan now, don't I? It's eighth title, isn't it? Eighth title to overtake Michael Schumacher in real life before he retired. But in the game, he's retired. And that leaves the absolute mental seat at Mercedes. Now, who's going to take it? Perhaps a young'un, a rookie, or Daniel Ricciardo, who takes it. So the Aussie takes the seat at Mercedes, which is, I don't think it would happen in real life, and I feel like the friends at Red Bull would not be happy with that. But now who takes the seat in McLaren? Well, it's Callum Ilott that takes it. So obviously the picture in real life, Ferrari going to McLaren wouldn't really happen in real life, but you know, never know. And this is the lineup for the 2024 season. So it looks very different with Daniel Ricciardo in the blue overalls and for some reason Callum Ilott in McLaren's colours, which looks really odd. So now we're going to move on. Drivers' Championship. Max Verstappen again. 202 points this time, so it's an even bigger improvement on last season. Now on to the Constructors. It's won by Mercedes. No, it's not. It's Red Bull again. 366 points this time. So an even bigger improvement on last year for the Red Bull team. The Hype Destroyer Award. You can guess who this goes to. It's the Aussie, unfortunately. Sorry, Daniel. The reason why is because he finished below Pierre Gasly in the Drivers' Championship, P5, and didn't record a single win in what was most likely the fastest car on the grid, if not the second fastest. So it's a bit embarrassing for the Aussie, unfortunately. But here's the Season 4 summary that I wrote at the end of Season 4. If you thought last year was a great one for Red Bull, you haven't seen anything yet. A 1-2 lockout for Red Bull in the Drivers' Championship saw them easily win the Constructors with 366 points. Mercedes were disappointed with new boy Danny Ric as he failed to really get into the rhythm with his new car. Ferrari fell down the championship, only achieving 39 points between the two drivers of Leclerc and Sainz. Replacing them were AlphaTauri, who achieved a surprising P4 with Pierre Gasly and a fantastic P6 for Yuki Tsunoda, finishing with 209 points for the Italian-based team. Now on to Season 5. So we're halfway through the sim and things have gone quite different from reality, I would say. I would expect a couple more Mercedes championships, but Lewis Hamilton, of course, is gone. So now, here we go. Transfers. There was only 2 in this season. Callum Ilott makes a switch to Ferrari, so he makes up for last season going to McLaren by going to Ferrari in the real-life picture. And Carlos Sainz goes back to McLaren to team up with Lando Norris. Obviously, great friend in real life, and very interesting to see. So, onto the lineup. So, obviously, don't mind Carlos Sainz's very massive head, but the two McLaren and Ferrari drivers swap, and that's the lineup. So, the Drivers' Championship. Who do you think it's going to be? Well, it's someone you might not expect. It's actually Pierre Gasly that takes it with 176 points. And so you'd think maybe AlphaTauri takes it, but no, unfortunately not. It's Red Bull, 289. So Red Bull win again. Absolutely fantastic from them. but it's the two bulls that have collided, I guess you could say. So the underdog award obviously has gone to Pierre Gasly, and the reason why I've given it is because he won 5 of the first 6 races. So in a very, very underrated car, he has taken the car to new heights and absolutely dominated in the first 6 races of the season. So the Season 5 summary is that it's a fantastic effort from AlphaTauri's Pierre Gasly season win his first Drivers' Championship. He was untouchable in the first 6 races, finishing P1 in 5 of his first 6 races. But despite a late drop-off near the end of the season, finishing 6th, 5th and 7th in Azerbaijan, Canada and France respectively, he achieved a position of P2 to seal up the championship in Austria. Max Verstappen was nowhere to be seen for the majority of the season, but he picked up 3 wins in the last 3 races for a speedy climb up the championship, finishing P3 despite a poor season. Speaking of poor seasons, the Finn Valtteri Bottas suffered a position of 8th in the championship overall, only accumulating 67 points and severely underperforming to his Aussie teammate Daniel Ricciardo. So closing that book onto Season 6 in 2026, we've now got the long-time German Sebastian Vettel has retired from the sport, and it leaves an open space at Aston Martin. So who's going to take it? Well, it's none other than Guan Yu Zhou takes it, Aston Martin. And then Callum Ilott goes to Williams. So that leaves an open spot at Ferrari. Well, who's going to take it? Jack Eichen. I've definitely butchered that. I'm so sorry, Jack. I'm going to call him Jack from now on. But Jack takes it at Ferrari. So now, this is the lineup. It's looking very, very different from the start, which I think it looks quite good, to be fair. Very decent teams around. There's a lot of rookies in there, but a lot of experience as well, which could make for a fantastic season. So, who's going to win the Drivers' Championship? It's none other than that man again, Max Verstappen, on 220 points this time. Fantastic pointage from him. On to constructors. It's Red Bull again. 337 points. So just another dominant display from him. And the underrated MVP award goes to Yuki Tsunoda. I had to give it to this man. I had to give at least one award to him. He's one of my favourite drivers on the grid at the moment. The reason I gave it to him is because he finished 3rd in the Drivers' Championship. Fantastic result from him. And he pulled his weight, certainly, with 119 points, which perhaps on another year, if it was more competitive, maybe could have gone his way. So on to the Season 6 summary now. Season 6 will go down as Battle of the Bulls, as the 2 Red Bull teams clash horns for the best bull in F1. I think that's quite a good analogy, that. Unfortunately for AlphaTauri, the Red Bull won the war, and more importantly, the races. Max Verstappen claimed his 4th title in this year, and perhaps many more to come. Since Season 3, Mercedes' slow fall down the championship has continued, with both the Silver Arrows drivers finishing lower than before in P5 and P8 respectively, despite still having the 2nd fastest car on the grid. It seems that since Lewis's retirement, the team hasn't quite been the same. Now on to Season 7, where Sergio Perez retires from the sport, so leaving a very juicy seat at Red Bull. Now who's going to take it? None other than Marcus Armstrong takes it, the rookie. So Red Bull are taking another gamble, just like Alex Albon. Let's see if it works out. So the next transfer is going to be very tasty. My man Yuki Tsunoda goes to the Reds, with Lance Stroll taking the seat at AlphaTauri. So very interesting lineup there between Gasly and Lance Stroll. And Mr. Jack, I'm going to call him that from now on, moves to Aston Martin. So very interesting transfer window there. And this is the lineup. So a very, very different looking lineup from this time last year, with Marcus Armstrong up there, with Mr. Jack at Aston Martin and Yuki Tsunoda at Ferrari. Let's see how this turns out then. So the Drivers' Championship was won in the most surprising result so far by Lance Stroll in the AlphaTauri. Very, very interesting. So the sister team to Red Bull, the AlphaTauri, have won another championship. Fantastic for them. And the constructors this time is won by AlphaTauri this time, so maybe it's a change in fortune for the 2nd Bull team in F1. Now, the Transfer of the Season award goes to Lance Stroll, of course, because he won the championship in his first season, and it was the most closest title fight so far, with only a margin of 4 points. So Gasly and Lance Stroll looking very dangerous in Season 7. Now this is what I've wrote for the Season 7 summary. This season will go down as one of the greats of the save. A close rivalry between the two AlphaTauri drivers caused a fantastic Drivers' Championship battle, with only a gap of 4 points between them in the end. Pierre Gasly must have thought that his hands were tight on the trophy, but a catastrophic performance in France and Austria, both P7, caused him to lose it on the last day to his Canadian counterpart Lance Stroll. Despite more wins than the Canadian, Gasly was simply not consistent enough for the title. Switching from one ball to the other, another good one, Red Bull were, to put it nicely, absolutely shocking. In the previous season, it was almost looking certain that Red Bull would do it again, but like Mercedes, since the retirement of one of their drivers, it seems like that caused a massive disruption in the team as they fell to a disappointing P4 in the championship, 193 points behind the Constructors' winners. Now on to Season 8 of the career mode, into 2028 now. Now, this is the most lively transfer window of all so far, so get ready for a lot of changes, and the lineup screen may be very useful for this. So, Carlos Sainz retires from the sport, which is quite surprising since he's only been at McLaren for a couple seasons now, so it's very interesting to see why he's done that. Maybe a falling out between the two McLaren drivers, I'm only speculating there. So, that leaves an open seat at McLaren, which Esteban Ocon takes. Very interesting move there, and I'm very pleased with that job there I've done on the head. The rest of them, not so much. So that's my favourite. So then Giovinazzi moves to Alpine. So what else happens? Lando Norris goes to AlphaTauri. So I don't know if that's a step up or step down. Based on current form, I'd say that's a step up. We'll see how it works out for him. Now, George Russell moves to McLaren. So it's the wrong M team, I guess you could call it. But he's moved to McLaren, the Oranges. He's there to stay, hopefully. Now, Christian Lundgaard moves to Alpine. Very interesting move there. So the rookie finally gets his chance in F1. See how it turns out for him. Marcus Armstrong now obviously didn't perform as well as Red Bull would have liked. So now he's moved to Alfa Romeo. So quite a step down, unfortunately. Sort of just reminds me of the Alex Albon incident there, really. But then there is one last transfer. Who do you think it is? Now, if you've been closely, watching and listening, there's an open seat at Red Bull. Who's it go to? Pierre Gasly takes it. He takes the spot at Red Bull, so he finally gets his chance at the big team. Can he deliver? Well, that's the question. With a lineup of Max Verstappen and Pierre Gasly, who's won one already, you would think, should be winning it. Or do they? Here's the lineup, looking very, very different now, which is fantastic. Haas is still looking exactly the same. We'll see if that changes, but I don't think anyone wants Mazepin anytime soon. So, on to the drivers. Who wins it? Is it going to be Mercedes? Is it going to be Red Bull? Well, it's neither of them. It's actually Max Verstappen in a Red Bull, so that makes no sense. I don't know why I said that, but it's Max Verstappen with 185 points. Takes it in Season 8. Now onto the Constructors. It's Red Bull again. You wouldn't be surprised. 338 points this time. Fantastic job for them. And the most surprising performer award actually goes to Antonio Giovinazzi. You would not expect it, but the new Alpine driver has been fantastic. He finished P6 in the Drivers' Championship with 71 points, finishing ahead of both the Mercedes and Ferrari drivers, which is a fantastic effort from him in the France-based team. Can't speak today. It's what happens when you speak too long. So, on to the Season 8 summary. Of course, Red Bull have another fantastic comeback season. A 1-2 lockout for Gasly and Verstappen sees Red Bull take the Constructors' Championship with ease. However, the fight was not as straightforward as it looked on paper. New boy Lando Norris impressed at AlphaTauri, beating his teammate and last year's Drivers' Championship winner Lance Stroll by 20 championship points. Fellow Briton George Russell also found his feet quickly at a new team, finishing P4 in the championship with McLaren with 104 points, massively outperforming the also new driver at McLaren, Esteban Ocon, who finished P11 in the championship with only 37 points. Now moving on to the penultimate season now, Season 9, 2029. Let's see what happened. So Ocon decided to retire. So for the second year in a row, a McLaren driver has decided to retire from the sport. But it's Ocon this time. So, Nobuharu Matsushita, I think I've pronounced that right, goes to McLaren, which is once again very fitting with the picture because he's got the McLaren top on, which is fantastic. So that's very exciting. So what happens now? Who's gone from McLaren? Well, it's actually George Russell moves back to Alpine. So obviously there must have been a misunderstanding or some sort of argument there. Once again, only speculating. But Russell moves back to Alpine. So that's very, very interesting. But now the other current Williams driver, Nicholas Latifi, joins McLaren. So it's like a swap, really, of the in real life pair from one going to McLaren, one going to Alpine. So now Christian Lundgaard goes to Williams. So once again, must have been a very interesting. I don't know what's happened to him, but he's gone. He's gone to Williams. So this is how the lineup looks for season 9. Still looking very, very good. Let's see what happens. But wait, before we get into the who won, there's a mid-season transfer for the first time this save. Nobuharu Matsushita and Dan Ticktum swapped places, with Matsushita going to Alfa Romeo and Dan Ticktum moving up to the Oranges. I've just made that nickname up. But here's the lineup now. So looks, very similar. Obviously, the only switch being Matsushita and Ticktum. So the Drivers' Championship Award. Who do you think won it? Of course, it was this man, the Flying Dutchman again. 234 points this time, with the Constructors being won by Red Bull, you guessed it. 392 points this time, so a fantastic dominant display from both Pierre and Max. Now the Best of the Rest award, who's this going to? It's going to Lando Norris. Fantastic performance from him. He finished P3 in the Drivers' Championship and proved that AlphaTauri will not give up on the fight for this championship. Now onto the Season 9 summary. It's almost getting too predictable now as Verstappen and Red Bull take another victory in the championship. Gasly didn't give up the fight, still winning 3 of the 10 races, but a sheer masterclass from Max sees him win the rest of the 7 races, meaning that a Red Bull driver won every single race in Season 9, which is a fantastic stat. Lando Norris put in another great performance at the black and white team, outperforming his teammate again, but this time by 40 points. So fantastic effort from Lando Norris there. Now onto the final season, Season 10 in 2030. Let's see what happens. So, transfers, absolutely none. So every single driver was happy at their current place. Let's see where this ends up. So this is the lineup again, just a reminder for you. Looking very, very interesting. So still Valtteri Bottas still at Mercedes here, which is very interesting, obviously because in real life he's gone to Alfa Romeo. And just a massive shake-up on the grid, which we'll see if it looks like this in 10 years' time, which I doubt. But could happen, you never know. So, onto the drivers. Who do you think wins? Was other than Pierre Gasly wins his first at Red Bull, which is fantastic for him. And then the Constructors was won by Red Bull. Again, what a surprise. So the biggest heartbreak award goes to Lando Norris. And so that's a big heartbreak, but I would say the biggest heartbreak happened to my game save file, which unluckily deleted itself. So obviously I don't have the stats for the points in the titles. That's unfortunate, but we can say that Lando Norris, I believe he bottled it in the last race because he was so consistently performed like P2 almost every single race. He slipped a couple times, but then I feel like he bottled it in the final race, which gave Pierre Gasly the win. So, here's my Season 10 summary. So I'm going to repeat again. Unfortunately, my game save file deleted itself before I could view the standings. Pierre Gasly takes the surprising last championship alongside his team, Red Bull. I don't think it was their best season, but they still managed to win the title. Judging by the results I saw, Lando Norris was so close to winning his first championship, but inconsistent results, like finishing P16 in the final race, stopped the ambitions. So, that's the final season of the save. So now I'm going to go through the results of the overall career mode, and you can sort of see who performed the best. So into the Drivers' Championship, it's obviously Max Verstappen with 6 titles of the 10, which is absolutely fantastic from him. Pierre Gasly winning 2, which is very good for the young French driver. 1 with AlphaTauri and 1 with Red Bull. And on to the second half of this, obviously Lance Stroll winning that fantastic season. I think it was Season 7, winning that fantastic, title. And obviously Valtteri Bottas right at the beginning of the save, winning his only Drivers' Championship of the save. So now on to the constructors. Obviously Red Bull taking 8. That's absolutely outstanding. 8 of the 10 titles in this save, with Mercedes taking 1 and AlphaTauri obviously taking that 1 in that season 7 where they were absolutely fantastic and ruthless. Now onto some interesting career stats that you may be interested in. I've said interested so many times in this video, but we move. My team acclaim level was 24 by the end. My player acclaim level was 17, and the teammate acclaim level was 19. And I had around $188 million in the bank, obviously not because I didn't spend anything. And I think there was around 20,000 resource points by the end, but I could have had many more, but obviously I couldn't check because the game save file deleted. So here's the final lineup. Very, very fascinating. I'm going to say that every single time this screen comes up, but very, very interesting from everyone involved, and I think a fantastic career mode, really. And I think that'll do it for the video. So thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed the interesting commentary from myself. But I think I hope you found that interesting, the save, and see where it takes us in 10 years' time. So leave any suggestions of what you want to see of this game, perhaps, or anything you want to comment about. Maybe who surprised you the most. And yeah, thank you guys for watching, and see you next time.